Hello and welcome back to the channel. Such an exciting day today. Two awesome Porsches to be test driving. We're going to be comparing the 991.2 generation GTS with the latest and greatest hybrid technology 992.2 Porsche right here, this black one. So black versus silver. We're going to hit the road with these cars, going to see what we think. Now, you've all seen my videos about the interior. I don't really want to talk about the infotainment systems. You all know what I feel about that. We're really looking about the drivability of this car, the technology that's in the car to give it more power, give it more stick on the road, handling ability, you name it. So let's get in and take a look. Okay, well, the 991.2, a very familiar generation of car because, of course, my Turbo S is of the same generation, and I'm completely at home inside the cabin here. As I've said many times, I really do love this generation of cabin, but it's not about cabin today. It's about drivability, and getting into this GTS is, oh, brakes are a bit different to mine. This one's hasn't got the ceramics. I'm in sport mode, heading around the hills. Gee, it feels so much lighter than my Turbo S. Straight away I noticed that. And really nice and directional into the turning. I guess it doesn't have all of the four-wheel drive system in the front to be worrying about. Woo, this is great. These cars are so good, so much power, so much bang for your buck. Oh, I'm just sort of into the corner. It's a little bit cold outside, a little bit of damp, so we're not going crazy, and it's not my car. So special thanks to car friend Ryan for lending me his car and trusting me with this today. It is a beautiful day out over the Port Hills, but it is, as I said, a little bit wet and damp, so we're just going to take things a little bit easier, and tyres aren't super hot. Wow. Yeah, I really noticed a lot of differences from my Turbo S. I drove my Turbo S into this morning, and I mean, I've done 15,000 Ks or something in that car, so really familiar with it. This is a whole nother thing. Woo, this is great. Woo. Just puts a smile on your face when you get into it. A little bit of looseness in the back end there, which is exactly what you want in a nice playful car like this. That's the big difference between the Turbo S, of course. You can't really, I mean, you can slide it out, I suppose, but it's just wanting to keep you on the road. This is wanting to mess with you a little bit, and that's okay. That's exactly what you want. The steering feels just magnifique. And the sound of the sports exhaust on this car is just awesome. I don't know if you'll hear it if I open up the window. And you may or may not be able to hear it so well. There's a little bit of, when I get around some of these rocks. What a car. What a car. How can they improve on this? How can they improve on this? That is the great question. Shut that window, it's chuffing a little bit. Okay, We're very fortunate with some amazing roads in New Zealand. Unfortunately, Waka Kotahi like to throw lots of loose gravel on these roads. It's a nice lazy way of doing road maintenance. You just get the old spade, throw a little bit of gravel out across the road, job done. You know, just wait for a hot day, and and a lot of cars going through it, and essentially the tar melts the stones into the top, and it's just a cheap way of doing a resurface on the roads. That's what we do here in New Zealand. Of course, it leads to broken windscreens, chipped paint. If you've got ceramic brakes and you get a stone in there, damaged brakes. It's a she'll be right mate kind of attitude to roading. This is just such a well-sorted car. It really is. You couldn't ask for much more than this. It's really good. And a little pop-pop, a little satisfying pop-pop. That's the loose gravel doing that slipperiness. It slips around and then it just self-corrects. Superb, absolutely superb. I think the only thing I would miss that I have on the Turbo S is those carbon ceramic brakes. I really have got used to how good they are. Hang on. Got some sheep. Well, I've got the 992.2 behind me now. I think it's time to pull over and switch cars and see what 2 more generations of engineering has done to make this car, which is already amazing, just a little bit better. Okay, the all new, brand new 992.2 plastic start button. Let's not talk about that. Fires it up, move it into sport mode, put the razor shifter into drive, and away we go. Ooh, it sounds a wee bit different. Is that real noise I can hear? Let's just try Sport Plus. I'll just leave it in Sport till I get myself familiar. Okay, so straight away I'm feeling the same kind of lightness. I don't know what the weight difference is. I don't know that there's much difference in weight, not that I can tell. It still feels nice and light, it's nice and nimble in the front. Steering, which is good. Haven't really got onto some nice open bits of road just yet. And that power delivery, you can certainly feel straight away the gaps are getting filled in quite nicely with that 400 volt electric motor system. So it's just as a reminder, there's a million videos on this already, but it is essentially powering the turbo spooler electrically, assisting it, and it's also got an electric motor in the PDK gearbox, which is giving it some assistance as well. You can't drive completely on battery charge, but yeah, okay, this is very nice turning in. Again, I'm not sure about that sound. It feels very quiet and sorted inside the cabin. I feel like I'm in a recording studio. It's very quiet. I haven't measured the decibels. I'm sure somebody has. It does seem like they've really sorted that out. Or maybe that's just a different type of tyre. I'm not sure. All right, let's give it a little bit of giddy up. It's got the giddy up. There's no problems with power on this car, none at all. Again, the roads are just a little bit greasy and a little bit gravelly, so I want to be careful. It's not my car. This is a demonstrator car kindly lent to me by Porsche Christchurch. Huge thank you to Cameron, who has entrusted me with this car. Really appreciate that, Cam. Wow. This car's actually for sale. This is not an ad for the car, but it is for sale, and it would be an amazing car to own. Oh, a little bit playful in the corner there. Very nice. Very, very nice. Ooh, growly engine. And away we go. I feel like Francois the train spotter.
Holy sh! Oh my god!
That was incredible. Oh yeah, what a growl. It's got more of a growl than the previous one. All the power though. all the power. Yeah, interesting. Once it really gets going, I'm going to put it into Sport Plus and just try and have the gears shift a little bit lower. There's a van in front of me, so I'm just going to have to either pass him or figure out what they're doing. I think I'll just stop and wait for them to catch up. Just while we stop for a second and wait for that van to repaginate, gather my thoughts. Nice, very nice. What a cool piece of equipment. What a cool piece of equipment. Are there improvements? 100%. Not 100% improvement, but there are. Oh yeah. Sport Plus loosens it up a little bit. Yep, nice. In the back. Just taking it easy through the greasy. Take it easy through the greasy. Yeah, that Sport Plus does actually give you a lot more noise to enjoy. Well, I've had a couple of hours now in this 992.2, and I've had a couple of hours in the 991.2, and I think I'm ready for my verdict. They're both great cars. They're both great cars, but they're actually both very different cars, and you can't really compare them because right now this car costs a lot more than the other one, so you can't compare them on price. If you were to maybe just pretend for a moment that they were exactly the same price and the same year and they came with the same kind of warranty, and you could choose the 991.2 or the 992.2, which would you choose? That's probably a more fair comparison if you're just comparing these two cars. And if that's the case, I just describe them as completely different cars. The 991.2 feels a little bit more old school. It feels like it sounds better at lower speeds. It doesn't feel so plasticky inside. I know this wasn't going to be a review of the interior because I've done that before, but it does feel like an old reliable glove when you get inside it. It feels a little bit more analog. I know this has got a hybrid battery. I know this is technology. This is, no question, this new car is faster. It is notably faster. When it gets up on its toes and up into the big, fast speeds that are going to make you lose your license and you're in Sport Plus mode, this thing barks and growls and sounds amazing. Much better, I would say, than the previous generation one. But at normal driving mode, this is quite docile. This is quite quiet. The cabin feels a lot quieter in this, which I actually like when I'm just driving around and doing, long haul driving. This feels quieter. The older car just has some really cool noises and crackles and pops at normal car speeds that this has kind of almost had it dialed out because it's so smooth and so linear and the battery is filling you in, and it's perfect. Like they've just refined this and got this so good that it's dialed out some of those little imperfections, which I think are kind of cool. Having said that, there is some cool technology in this car that is fantastic if you want to get data on your driving and your energy and your performance, and as it just did then, your lane keeping assist and all that kind of stuff. It's got all the tech. If you want the tech, this is the car. If you're a person that must have the latest and greatest and newest of everything, this is your car. This is the car for you. But the reality is both cars are absolutely awesome. And all this drive has actually done for me is make me want to go and find a 997 GTS and try that. I want to go older it's actually made me want to go back through the history of the GTS. And like I've found when I got into the GT3 touring, you know, every time you get into a different 911, it's a different car. It really is. It's amazing how what looks the same on the outside is just so different on the inside, and so different in so many different ways. Whew, how cool. So if you're lucky enough to have one of these, doesn't matter what version, you're a very lucky person. What a great, fantastic car. My personal preference would be the GTS Targa. I really like the profile of the new Targa. I like the old Targas as well, like the really old, not the 996, 997 Targas, but the older ones. So I'm really keen to try one of those out. I wonder if the Targa, how they've dealt with the cabin noise in the Targa, because it's got a big glass heavy panel right behind you, kind of reflecting all the noise of the engine. Be interesting to see what they've done with that, what that sounds like. But this is awesome. What a cool car, and what a privilege to be allowed to drive it. Once again, thanks Cam for lending me this from Porsche Christchurch. Check this car out on their website. It's for sale. Maybe it's already gone by the time you see this video. Maybe go and see it, get a test drive for yourself and see what you think. I think it's awesome. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. There'll be more videos coming, so stay tuned. See you next time.